Okay, this is Friday. It says 8:16, but it's going to be 8:17. This is the homework. Assignment 3. So on Monday, I'll be collecting 3 assignments, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is 3. Let me show you 2 again. This was assignment 2. It says right here, number 2 at the top. And then number 1 is the slope applet. The slope applet one. So be ready to turn in 3 homeworks on Monday. Plus, I'll be giving you 2 points for your notes that you copied from the video. So you can get lots of points on Monday. I'll be walking around. You guys will have everything in your notebook. I'll be looking at your notebooks, okay? So have everything ready. This is assignment 3. Here we go. Let's do this quick. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the equation by putting it in slope-intercept form and then identifying slope and y-intercept b. So this one's already in slope-intercept form. Don't let the f of x fool you. That's really a y. I'm just going to rewrite this. F of x and y are the same thing. So your slope m is 1/5. The y-intercept b is 3. Done. Number 2. This, do you see the y? Do you see how that's not by itself? So this one is standard form. And standard form is no good if you're trying to answer the questions for slope and y-intercept. So we are going to solve for y. So here's your little line. There's your equal sign. There's the y. Your goal is to get Yolanda by herself. Let's get rid of Zader term. So we're going to add 3x to the other side. Have y, 5y equals. Now, you're not allowed to add these because they're not like terms. So write 3x first, followed by plus 15. Divide by 5, divide by 5, divide by 5. You can't divide 5 by 3 by 5, but you can take 15 divided by 5 and get a 3. So this is slope-intercept form. So from here, the slope is 3/5. And the y-intercept is 3. So once you get it in slope-intercept form, then you can answer the question slope, y-intercept. So which form is this? Is that slope-intercept form or is it standard form? You guessed it if you said standard form. So standard form, we have to solve for y. So let's put a line through the equal sign. You have a left side and you have a right side. Find the y. See it? Your goal is to get that by itself. So let's add 6x to the other side first. You always want to move the x term first. Make sense? How do I get rid of the 12? Divide by 12. You're right. Divide by 12. So this is y equals 6 divided by 12 is actually 1/2. 35 divided by 12, I don't know what that is. So I'm going to keep it as 35 over 12. This is slope y-intercept form. So the slope is the number in front of x. The y-intercept is the number added to the x term, which is some ugly fraction. Number 4 is also standard form. Find the y. See it? Let's move the x term first. Subtract 4x. Let's divide by -7 next. 2 negatives make a positive. 1 negative stays negative. So this is slope-intercept form, which means your slope is 4/7 and your y-intercept is -4. Now this one's tricky. Number 5 says y equals 5. You could actually rewrite that like this if you wanted. So the slope is 0. The y-intercept is 5. That's a horizontal line with a 0 slope. Vertical lines are when it says x equals. This is what it looks like. X equals -3. This has undefined slope because you can't even put it in y equals form. If you can't even solve for y ever, you have no slope and you have no y-intercept. You don't have either of each. You don't have no slope and you have no y-intercept if you can't solve for y. 7, put the following equations in standard form. No fractions or decimals allowed. How do we get rid of this fraction? What is the LCD or LCM of these three terms? Hopefully you said 3, which means you're going to multiply or triple each equation or each term in this equation. So nothing cancels this 3 because there's no denominator. So this is 3y. Nothing cancels this because there's no denominator. So 3 times 3 is 9x. Now in the third term, this denominator will cancel with the LCD, and you're left with 2. Now to solve for y, you're just going to divide everything by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, x minus 2/3. Wait a minute. What was I doing? Back it up. Sorry, people. I'm getting tired. All right, wait a minute. 3y, let's go back to this step. I started putting it in slope-intercept form, but it started in slope-intercept form. I forgot. Let me read my directions again. Put it in standard form. Standard form means Xavier and Yolanda must be on the same side. Look at this equation. There's Yolanda, but Xavier's all the way on the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to move Xavier over. That's standard form. My fault. My bad. So this is slope-intercept form. Your goal is to change it to this form. Xavier Yolanda equals a constant. How do I get rid of this 2? What's the LCD? Are you saying 2? If you are, you're right. Let's multiply everything by 2. In other words, you're doubling each term. So if you double y, you get 2y. What's 1/2 of 2? Did you say 1? You're right. 2 times 7 is 14. Standard form. Is Yolanda and Xavier on the same side? No. So subtract Xavier to the other side. And this is standard form. Number 9. And this is the last problem. Hosea can rent a car for $15 fee plus 25% every mile. Write an equation line in slope-intercept form that models the equation. What's the number that never changes? 15 or 25? Hopefully you mean 15. That's the y-intercept. Just to rent the car, it costs $15. But then for every mile he drives, it's an additional 25 cents. So you're going to write 25 cents times x. That's how you write the equation. So find and interpret the slope. The slope is a quarter. What does it mean? That means the rental goes up by 25 cents every mile driven. So just to put that in perspective, to go to Cincinnati, it takes 100 miles. So how much would it cost to rent this car if you were driving to Cincinnati and back, which is actually 200 miles? So if you just wanted to rent a car for the day to drive and visit some friends in Cincinnati, it's 100 miles there and 100 miles back. So we're going to add 200 miles round trip. 25 cents times that plus the original 15 it costs to rent it. It'll cost you about $65 to rent a car. Now that doesn't include gas. So add another, what, $50 on gas. That's going to cost you about $115 to drive to and from Cincinnati to visit some friends. But if you're splitting that 4 ways, not too bad. Find and interpret the slope. So it's 25 cents every mile. The y-intercept, the $15, is the initial rental. If you never drove it out of the parking lot, it would cost you $15. But once you drive it out of the parking lot, it goes up 25 cents every mile. After how many miles will Hosea have spent $25? So we're going to set 25 equal 25 cents plus 15. We're solving for x. How many miles? X represents miles. So subtract 15. You get 10 equals 0.25x. And divide both sides by 0.25. So it's 10 divided by 0.25. So if he went 40 miles, it would cost him about $40. It would cost him $25 if he went 40 miles. Done.